we can formally start our technical sessions. The very first speaker. The very first speaker with us is Mr. S.K. Negi, who is a very known name. So, but for introduction for all, I would like to share his brief introduction with you. So you can see it on your screen. Mr. Negi is an electrical engineer from Pant University, and he began his BTech in 1980. He has worked with almost all power sector PSU and TPC Power Grid, followed by Alstom career, and then he joined Transmission Corporation (GETCO) and retired as managing director in 2017. So regarding his experience in transmission and distribution sector, he has been very actively involved in the construction of AC and HVDC stations and transmission line and designing of EHV substations, implementation project management practices, and establishing engineering processes for ISO 9001. It also includes asset management of different electrical equipments covering complete electrical transmission and distribution systems. And also recently he is much active in renewable energy system design of grid system and connected solar park. Presently he is managing director and CEO of Skippersil Limited from 2017 onwards. So welcome, sir. With this, we request you to share your presentation and start with that.
Thank you, Mr. Vivek. Good morning to one and all. I particularly acknowledge the presence of Mr. Sandesh Sharma, and then Mr. Sunit Mishra and Ashwin Shah, and many other I would not be able to name, but it's good to recollect everybody and link myself with you. Welcome to all the delegates. I hope this seminar will be quite learning and as well as pave the way for our thinking process on the utilization of conductor, particularly in the when renewable energy is in the forefront. I think good background I heard from Mr. Sandesh, and it has made the platform for us to discuss. This seminar is actually topic itself is quite interesting, new age conductor and power transmission. In fact, power transmission is paramount. It should be first, but it looks in the back of mind. Whosoever has designed this program, he has that in mind that conductor is very, very important factor of the power transmission. And instead of giving any name like high power, high performance conductor or HTLS conductor, name is given as new age conductors. So it makes more interesting that why this new age conductor name is given and what we have to now discuss and what we can think of beyond this. I will go to the little background of transmission system.
Negi sir, one request, if you can make it full screen.
Okay, no problem. It's fine now?
Yes, sir, it's better. Thank you.
So I would like to go first into the background of the conductor. And before that, I would like to compliment CA for issuing a guidelines in February 2019. Very interesting book. All the participants, I see more than 300 participants are here in this seminar. Guidelines for rationalized use of high performance conductor. The word is used, high performance conductor. And this is very, very good document. And it gives a insight into the conductor technology and more of an application part of the conductor. But very limited portion, I think almost nil portion is covered about AL59. And it is very interesting. But this guidelines, I would request all participants to go through it in their future references. It's well known that 35 to 40% cost of the transmission line cost is the conductor. So it becomes all the more important for all of us that we look upon the conductor in the transmission line from the long-term point of view and future loads and all that. Particularly after 2000, ROW issues were in the forefront, and they were causing a lot of issues. But at the same time, as we were saddled with the ACS Hormuz conductor, we could not do much. And thereafter, many things emerged in the form of high-performance conductor. In the part of manufacturer as well as R&D also, I will say that there was not much of development and improvement. Very sorry to say that, but we can delve into that. Because, you know, this transmission system itself was a monopolistic business, and it was driven by the utilities. And these utilities were having a particular design of the tower, and they were not able to come out of that. And the utilities did not do much development and much thinking on the usage of conductor. I will tell you why we were seized with that idea. And so this utilities have been the driving force for the conductor. And see the all this manufacturer R&D capital venture, they will not invest money unless they see the prospects of a particular type of conductor coming into the market and acceptability in the utility. And we continue to use ACS Hormuz conductor as a tradition. And you know, one has to note that it has a very limiting factors as far as the power flow is concerned, due to the surge impedance loading, as well as it start losing strength above 90 degrees centigrade temperature operation. And that's why this limitations of the ACS Hormuz conductor did not allow us to flow more power in the transmission system. And now, why this could not be, this tradition of ACS Hormuz usage could not be overruled? Mainly it was actually due to the utility, due to lack of collaborations, I will say, between the stakeholders. You know, when you use a transmission line, so then tower design is done according to the conductor data, conductor sag tension calculation, operating temperature of the conductor, and these are some of the factors which take into account while designing a tower. Now, the utilities had type tested tower. That is another point, very critical point, that utility type tested the tower with ACS Hormuz conductor, and we continue to use the ACS Hormuz conductor in spite of having some of the inherent limitations. And however, there was some way forward. There was some modification in the tower which could have been done, but I think utilities were stuck up with the ACS Hormuz conductor. And I will say, from the point of view of lack of collaboration with the stakeholders, particularly tower structure designer, we continue to use this ACS Hormuz conductor. And so this is the background I want to just convey. What made this transmission and power engineers to think of a new age conductor, having known the other conductors, high performance conductor HLS, because of the high cost they have. Now, going to the little technical background, how these conductors are selected. One is clearly that maximum power flow at defined temperature. It is also kept in mind the voltage regulation when it is used in the long line. Short circuit requirements are definitely important for this selecting a size of the conductor for a particular voltage level. minimum ground clearance required and sag of the conductor at a defined temperature. This is very, very important factor which determines the tower cross arm height, bottom cross arm height. IA square losses, definitely this is one of the important factor, and cost benefit analysis is done based on this only. And this is where this high performance conductor and STS conductor attracted the people in terms of I square losses. But people miss the point that as you go for a high temperature operation, then losses will be definitely more. And though you may get a benefit of megawatt in terms of megawatt. So this is one factor which gave idea that why not we have some other better conductor which is having a optimal transmission, the I square losses, and which can also withstand in the existing tower design. Line hardware design is definitely another factor, because as you select a STLS type of conductor, definitely this hardware design has to be, material has to be taken care for the, to withstand that kind of temperature. And then tower design to satisfy serial number 4, there is a ground clearance and all that. As I already said that we were stuck with the particular type of type tested design in a utility, and thereafter not much thought of, not much help was taken from the designer that how best we can use the other conductor in the same tower. That is the important factors to be considered. So we were in a catch-21 situation, and because as I said, after 2000, ROW issues came into picture, and we were having all traditional with the lines with traditional conductor ACS Hormuz, and we were having issues to lay another lines, and that is how this high performance conductor and STS conductor attracted people, and they start telling that you please use this conductor. But cost prohibited utilities to use that. So, but nevertheless, for a short line, this STS conductor is definitely very, very useful, and it was required. This was a compulsion to use these short lines in the city areas to bring power to the urban and city area in the existing lines which were there. So there it was okay, but when it comes to the laying a new line, it was an issue, and there was capital investment was another issue. So we were caught in a very catch-21 situation that what to do. One side we need line, another side cost of the conductor is very high, and there are ROW issues whether to lay line with the traditional conductor or with a this high performance conductor or with some other new age conductor. So this name itself, new age conductor, is given by that designer of this program. I'm very happy that it is being discussed, and now we'll go further into that, how this conductor can be used in this present arena of transmission lines, particularly when RE is increasing day by day. So with this background, the necessity of a new age conductor was to 4 factors I feel were important, which we considered: adequate ampacity at defined temperature limit, low I square losses, suitability in the existing tower design to satisfy sag. This is the one paramount factor which I already said that drives the usage of conductor in an existing tower or a new tower you design. To satisfy cost benefit analysis, this is also equally important when you go to the board and when you go to the decision makers, then they ask cost benefit analysis when you are incurring additional cost. So in this situation, AL59 conductor emerged as a good option. This is a homogeneous alloy conductor, aluminum, magnesium, and silica alloys. And its core characteristics are that conductivity of 59% of the IACS, and it has a ISCS, and that is International Annealed Copper Standard. And all of you must be knowing that when we talk of a conductor, we compare with this, we take that as a reference, and then we tell the conductivity. Then high temperature carrying capacity and low losses due to DC resistance. AL59 has high corrosion resistance, making the most suited for deployment in coastal area. That was a very important factor for us because in the coastal areas, there is a corrosion of the conductor, both steel and even aluminum also. There is a white rust on that. So this came as a handy AL59 conductor, which has a high corrosion resistance. Now, having said the characteristics of the AL59, then when we compare with the ACS Hormuz conductor, so it carries 30% more current, and that too at a temperature of 95, and while maximum time remains the same, and working tension is lesser than ACSR. So this is the very, very important factor which triggers the thinking process toward the AL59. Resistivity is lesser than that of ACSR and AAAC conductors, thereby lower ISO losses, higher corrosion resistance, as I already said. So this is the background under which AL59 having edge over the ACSR conductor. To go further into detail in the family of conductor, we will have to see how this AL59 stands. And if you see the chart here, this is the hard drawn aluminum. This is the ACSR, okay, and this is fully annealed. Is a high performance conductors, and your STLS conductors, conductors which are actually having a carbon core or having other materials, fabrics in that core, and they are the STLS conductor, high performance conductors. So this is fully annealed aluminum is over them as a outer layer. This is where AL59 stands, and it is, if you see this chart, this is the strength and this is the temperature in the y-axis, and then you find that conductivity is also shown here of the different conductors. So this is chart I have taken from the Lemmingfield catalog, and it shows that how poor is the ACS Hormuz conductor, and AL59 stands in between all of them, and having a conductivity of 59%, I said. And then these are the conductor families, other families of conductor belonging to high performance conductor around that. I have written in the bottom, I have shown that a type of conductors being the family of conductor being used today in the global market. So from this we stand that AL59 conductor can stand up to 95 degrees centigrade, and then having a conductivity of 59%, and having a better capability of standing temperature as well as lesser sag than ACS Hormuz conductor. And when I put on chart this ACS Hormuz conductor versus AL59, so here you can see that ACS Hormuz at 85 degrees centigrade is carrying 794 amps, but this amps actually is limited, as I said in the beginning, by surge impedance loading, particularly for a line which is more than 150 kilometers. So here then it's a well-established fact that 400 kV line, even in load dispatch centers, is limited to the extent of 400 or 450 amps, and it's that it is not loaded beyond the surge impedance loading, and surge impedance loading of the 400 kV line itself is about 500 megawatt. So we have to think of a conductor which can carry a better megawatt with the same sag and same tension positions in the existing tower or design a new tower. So this is a triple AC conductor performance which is better than ACS Hormuz. Then here's AL59 with the same diameter. We are comparing AL59's diameter equivalent to the ACS Hormuz, and then it is better in terms of current carrying capacity. Actually, it is 987 here in this table, but it can go beyond 1030 amps. There are different catalogs from different companies, and here you see the important point is the resistance. Okay, I square R losses. Then you see here that at 95 degree it is having a value of 0.0655. Okay, ohm per kilometer. Whereas if you go to the ACS Hormuz conductor, it is 0.71 ohms per kilometer. Now here the question comes, okay, can you straight away use this AL15 conductor and compared to ACS Hormuz? I will say no, because you will have to take a prudent decisions. As I said in the beginning, there are many stakeholders for the conductors. All the stakeholders are to be taken into consideration, particularly tower designer. Now, when you use AL59 conductor, okay, which is carrying more conductor and having a lesser ICR losses, then how can I use in the existing line? Or utility should think of designing a tower and type test is AL15. I find very few. I don't find any. I don't know. I will be. I would be like to be enlightened in the panel discussion whether any tower type test with the AL15 conductor. So at that point of time, it is a designer which comes into picture, and the conductor manufacturer, sag tension calculation, conductor designer come into picture. They advise how AL59 in the existing tower can be used. So we have used it by using a 3-meter extension on a existing tower, and then or using the lesser span in a 400 kV line, and then doing the cost benefit analysis, the power flow which it will give ultimately in the next 5 to 10 years, and what is the break-even point and where it will be beneficial to the utility, taking into account the I-square losses which are lesser here. So one has to do the more of an application engineering, I will say. We in the utility have to depend on all the stakeholder, but application engineering is very important. Utility engineers have to be more focused on application engineering, and then here comes the question how we can use AL59. I'm sure this seminar will make some firm view on this conductor usage, whether with new tower, existing tower, and they will guide the utility on use of this conductor. Now, one more thing I want to convey here, that is my experience, and that when we do this transmission system development, I find that there are a lot of variations in the loading of the transmission line over a period of time. At one time, the transmission line will be heavily loaded, parallelly when, particularly not interstate line, but within the state, particularly when the development takes place within the state, I find that the line which was getting heavily loaded has now become moderately loaded, and then other lines takes in picture. So in this scenario, in a power system where network development keeps on changing the load, the loading of the transmission line over a period of time, I think use of this AL type of conductor will be very useful, and it can even you may feel you may repent later that we have used this high performance conductor and then not this new age AL59, and this cost benefit analysis has gone wrong. and by using a high performance conductor. So I'm not against the high performance conductor, but I'm trying to say that it is a system requirement and which drives the selection of a conductor. Now, particularly in the area of renewable energy, when there's more of a development will take place on the sub-transmission system compared to main transmission system, the power flow will take place from the lower voltage to the higher voltage, maybe up to 220 kV, 130 kV, sufficient to deliver the power to the consumer. So at that point of time, this the is quite important. And also, when there is a ROW issue, we may not be able to may not be able to meet the N-1 criteria or N-2 criteria. We will not be able to meet, and then we will have to depend on reliable transmission tower and design, and to carry the power which is taking development. These are some of the comparison which are very known, and I have already. It is only a repetition, and it only proves that this application engineering and cost analysis. These are the two important points which are important to consider while deciding a conductor. Similarly, this is a comparison for ACS Jabra. I think participant can see later, and this is also for 400 kV line. Also, we adopted this conductor by changing the design, changing the span of the towers, and use this ACSR, this AL59 conductor in place of ACSR MOS. So this is the example which is available, that how AL59 has helped us in enhancing our capacity of the transmission system by using AL59, by carrying out some structural and application of the sag tension, spotting of the tower, how it has helped us to use this conductor and get better performance of the transmission system. As a conclusion, I will say 5 points, which I have already said, but I would like to conclude vociferously here. Collaborative efforts and concrete actions are essential to guide utilities to know. Collaborative efforts and concrete actions are required to guide utilities. Okay, I will request IEEMA to work on this direction. A correlation between MPC needed conductor characteristics of sag tension at specified temperature, I-square losses at specified temperature of the operation. Accordingly, tower design changes, new and existing upgrades, to take decision of a new conductor on the basis of cost benefit analysis. So I have put here a very important factor: I-square loss, tower design changes. Either you do put a new line, new tower design, you carry out the type test, or an existing line itself you can do the upgradation, and use the cost analysis to satisfy the decision maker for a usage of new conductor. At this point of time, it is significant subject when transmission lines have aged and depleted for the replacement in the same corridor. Now, 400 kV line were done in 1978 onwards, and I am very sure that many coastal areas and in places there will be need of this replacement. We have found much in coastal areas this particular problem, and we have been replacing those conductors in those areas. I am very sure these transmission lines which are 34-40 years old, they also will be aged and replacement required. At this point of time, it is very significant that in the same corridor, in the same tower, corridor, or in the same tower or different tower, we use this new age conductors. Growing renewable energy and its integration for new and future transmission line calls for a prudent capital investment by selecting suitable conductor, and tower design changes, either new or existing one, requirement in sub-transmission level. So I have used our sub-transmission level particularly because renewable energy integration itself will take place from 33 kV, 6 kV onwards. And but in respect of conductor, maybe 33 kV up to 6 kV, people may go for a cables. Okay, fine. But there will be areas where remote areas where 6 kV at least will have a this overhead line, and definitely it will have it 130 kV, 220 kV line if it is 100 megawatt and more solar park or a wind and hybrid now, which is planned in the other day. Prime Minister has made announcement that 30,000 megawatt renewable energy will come in the Kutch area. Both it will be both hybrid, I mean solar and wind put together. So we will have to integrate this from the sub-transmission onwards. We have to integrate this energy from sub-transmission network to the main transmission network and then carry to the other states. So this is very, very important that this right conductor is selected, and with a minimum this transmission lines, maybe we can bypass the criteria N-1. It is, of course, it's a decision making, and so this renewable energy particular calls for a use of this new age conductors. Use of HPA, high performance conductor, and STLS cannot be ruled out in short distance lines, both the new and existing, but it would require a replacement of terminal equipments at both ends of the substation. Therefore, cost consideration and long-term benefits are paramount in decision making. So when it is very simple to say HPC and STLS conductors are carrying more power, but considering the cost and the I square losses at temperature, it is definitely a deterrent to take a decision. And but at the same time, it requires the replacement of terminal equipment at both sides. I think this factor, many times people miss it. But whereas in case of a AL-59 conductor, I found that same transmission terminal equipments could be used, and there was no changes required. So that is another point which has to be considered while deciding these conductors. So in conclusion, last point, I will say that we should not continue to use inefficient conduct like ACS moves and then repent later, year after year. I find that this story is going on of ACSR moves since the 400 kV lines are being established from a young age, and up to 2008. Somewhere this 2008 only this new age conductor concept has come, but still after 2 years, I find that there is a need of discussion, and there is no discussion. Why? Because people, utilities and people don't understand that the selection of conductor calls for a change of design. There's nothing to fear about that. And this change of design and the modification are there required. And this our structural engineers, we are very talented in India, will help us in designing a new tower or carry out the changes in the existing line. And we also have to put our brain on changing the span, using the tower according to the profile of the land, use them in a very determined normal span of the transmission line. So this is what I wanted to convey. I thank IMA and all the participants for listening patiently. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Negi sir. It was very informative, specific, and why to use new age conductors was very well prepared. Thanks a lot, sir. We request you to be with us till the next presentation, at least, so that we can answer the combined questions at a later stage after the presentation. Now I request Negi sir, if you can close your shared screen. And to supplement this presentation with the industry perspective now, I would like to request our IMA conductor division experts, Mr. Mohan Babu and Mr. Prasad, to tell us more about this new age conductors and why utilities should consider the new age conductor as a beneficial for their respective utilities. So Prasad sir and Mr. Mohan Babu, over to you. Thank you. And request all the delegates, please post your queries and questions on the chat box. We will take this after this presentation. Thank you. So Mr. Prasad, if you can make it at full screen mode, yeah, after the presentation. Mr. Prasad, you can unmute yourself, please.
Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir. Now you are audible. Please speak little louder. Yeah.
Sure. So, on behalf of industry, I would like to thank IMA for providing us such an excellent platform to represent what industry done with utilities and about this new conductor. So we would like to have a brief history of overhead conductors. Like in 1880, Thomas Alva Edison commercialized electricity, and of course it was with copper conductors. But as we know, by nature, copper metal is having very high density, high cost, and somewhat strength related issues. So in 1985, we got first aluminum conductor, but it was a solid rod conductor. It got installed in California. 1989, we got stranded aluminum conductors, and the first conductor which got established, installed, was operational more than 50 years. So the aluminum conductors proved their metal, their feasibility and usefulness to this transmission and distribution industry. Days come where we could feel the requirement of reinforcement material, because the first stranded conductor was AC conductor. It was having all aluminum EC grade L wires. So the steel core was put inside, and we got first installation of ACSR conductor 1907. ACSR conductors were having their own merits over AC conductors. Over the period of time, with new innovations and technological developments, we could feel that we could find the site data that ACSR is having two metals inside. One is the galvanized steel, most probably, and EC grade aluminum wires. So it was making bimetal kind of combination. So whenever this conductor was exposed to, we could say, a corrosive environment or industrial pollutant environment, so the one metal was becoming anode, second was becoming cathode, and there was some galvanic corrosion happening, and that was drastically reducing the life of the conductor due to corrosion. At the same time, due to steel inside, it was little bit heavy. So again, the innovation cycle went on. We could get aluminum, magnesium, silicon, AAAC conductors. It got invented and installed in Europe, 1939. So days were coming, and like engineers and experts were doing R&D. We could say like all their efforts to maximize the benefits of aluminum as a metal. So in 1975, we could get this AL59, the superior alloy compared to the existing aluminum, magnesium, silicon alloy. Like industry would like to focus on this AL59 in this presentation and get the maximum advantage of this platform. So after that, till date, we are having so much updation in the technology. We could get ACSS conductors, gap type conductors, INVAR conductors, composite core conductors. But this presentation, we would like to mainly focus on AL59, which is the need of an hour. We could also understand from previous presentation that we are actually as a country not getting maximum benefit out of this superior alloy technology conductors. And our main target in this presentation would be to have more and more focus on this AL, which is the best alloy what we could understand and world is having the benefit till date. So next slide is introduction to AL59 conductors. AL59 conductors are mainly as per the Swedish specifications, and since 30-40 years, all the Scandinavian countries, they are effectively using this conductor as their regular conductors. Like in India, we are having ACSR conductor as our base and conventional overhead conductors. This other part of the world, they are using this conductor as their conventional conductor. The good thing is that with industry efforts, help of CEA, Power Grid, now we are having our own specification, IS 398 Part 6, and in very short time we will be having the official publication of the same. We would like to have a look at the features of these conductors. Like it has 59% conductivity, and that's why it is AL59. It is basically aluminum, magnesium, silicon alloy only. However, with some specialized heat treatments, it is having best strength to weight ratio compared to ACSR conductors. Of course, due to better conductivity, it offers excellent power transmission characteristic. As we have seen, being a conductor manufacturer, during the heating process, we are getting rid of some inbuilt stresses. And at the metallurgical level, this conductor is having best corrosion resistance compared to other conductor or other variety of conductors available to the industry. So like this would be the best choice for our coastal areas or some urban areas wherein the line is passing through some industrial zone or some pollutant prone zones. So this conductor would be the best solution to the power transmission and distribution sector. Now we would like to focus on summary of both the specifications, like Swedish standard 1989, the latest version, and the IS standard, which we are having in very short time. We would be having the official published copy. So as far as size are concerned, Swedish standards, they offer right from 7/2.38 mm, like 31 square mm to for distribution conductor size to 910 square mm up to highest size in transmission conductor. Whereas in BS standard, we have 22 square mm, very lower size, 3/2.5 mm, and 774 square mm, 61/4.2 mm size. As far as strength of the wires are concerned, both the standards are having the parity. But the important factor which we can look at, when we are calculating the overall UTS of the conductors, so Swedish standard allows 100% strength of the individual wire, which can be aggregated to arrive to the breaking load of the conductor. Whereas in Indian standard, we are having 95% of the individual strength of the wires. At the same time, one factor where in Swedish specification, if we are achieving 90% of the UTS, which we have confirmed then it is okay. Whereas in Indian standard, we are having refined version, whereas we are allowing that in the recent TBCB specifications, we should achieve 100% of the UTS which we are guaranteeing. So I would say that we are having refined standard and very particular standards. So we can assure all state utilities that you will be getting the best quality of AL59 conductors for your transmission network, and it will make the existing system more robust in terms of strength, in terms of the higher power transmission capabilities. Last point we would like to focus is the resistivity of the wire. As per the Swedish specification, it can be 29.3 nano ohm per meter, whereas the individual wire resistivity in IS standard is 29.05. So here also we have tried, like our Indian specification have tried to industry based of strength at the same time based on the resistivity. Will reflect in terms of low losses when this conductor will be operational, and this will definitely benefit to the country as a whole during the life period of the conductor. Like we are having almost 25 to 40 years minimum lifespan of the transmission line, and we can think of having better resistance conductors, whereas we would be having the least losses compared to our conventional conductors. So power saved is power generated, and that will help nation as in a great way. So from this point, I would request my industry partner who is there in the presentation to take forward the next slide and throw more light on the benefits by taking the real-time examples. Mohanji?
Hello.
Mr. Mohan,
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. Thank you, Prasad ji, for your valuable insights on AL59. So from this point, I will touch upon the what we have already seen in earlier Negi sir presentation, a technical parameter comparison of ACSR versus AL59 at Moose equivalent and Zebra equivalent. So if you see for any conductor selection, the major criteria first thing is the power carrying capacity or the thermal rating of the line. So in India, generally we will plan a transmission system with a contingency for the reliability purpose. So it is known to everyone, generally the loading of the line at a normal operating conditions would be around 50% of its thermal rating. So this is one point we should note when we are talking these parameters. And under any contingency, without any planning criteria says, without any shutdown of the load or without any disturbance in the grid, I should be able to carry full capacity or full load conditions. So if you see here, the ampacity of the AL59 conductors is generally 20% higher than the ACSR moves. It's 20 to 25%. And with reduced DC resistance, if you see the DC resistance, it is lesser than ACSR moves. That means the losses are less at the rated capacities also. So DC resistance, if you see, is almost lesser than the ACSR moves. Then these two are the major electrical benefits we are getting from the AL59 moves. One is the higher rating capacities, higher thermal ratings. The other is lower losses. So if you typically compare when at the 50% operating, the 50% loading during the operational conditions, if you see ACSR moves or AL59 moves comparison, generally the losses are lower in AL59 moves. So this is the one of the major benefit where you can reduce the losses and in turn reduce the carbon emissions in the country, where we are majorly focusing on reducing carbon emissions. The second part of the benefit is one is weight of this conductor. If you see the weight of the conductor, it's around nominal weight to ACSR moves and AL59 moves or ACSR Zebra or AL59 Zebra, the weight is almost lesser than the ACSR thing, conductors. So this helps in your tower optimization. So tower weights and tower optimization will be improved. So your overall project cost can be reduced. If you take any long distance lines, the overall project comes down. The other part is better SAG performance. Better SAG performance compared to ACSR moves even at the rated operating temperatures of AL59 moves. This is also one of the benefit where you can optimize your project cost on the tower design aspects. Yeah. Next slide, Prasad. So there is slight delay in slide change. So the overall benefits, if you see, if you one is improvement in power transfer with reduced losses and improved reliability, which is high power transfer capacity compared to ACSR moves. Just we have seen 20 to 25% higher power transfer capacity is available. Lower AC resistance even at the rated operating temperature. So the losses are lower, where you can save on the units generated and reducing the carbon emissions. Then the other, please let me know if it is visible.
Yes, it is fine, sir.
Yeah.
Now you can start.
Sir, as we seen in the last slide, we are talking about the ampacity and weights and losses part. So if you categorize those overall benefits of AL59, in the last presentation also we have seen the similar benefits. So improvement in power transfer capacity with reduced losses and improved reliability, which is we have seen here 20 to 25% higher power transfer capacities. So with lower losses, lower AC resistance values. So at the 50% loading, which is the normal operating condition, the losses are lower compared to ACSR, which in turn reduces your total carbon emissions in the country. Today, if we see in India, we have more than 6 lakh circuit kilometers, overall 66 kV and above. These type of conductors going forward in future, it will hugely reduces the losses and huge impact on the reduction of carbon emissions. Then the other part is CapEx part. While constructing the transmission lines, longer distance lines, because of the reduced weight of this conductor, one is you have saving on your aluminum metal component. Conductor tonnage will be lesser compared to ACSR. Then this reduced weights, you can design your towers optimally, and this leads to reduced foundation volumes. So overall, you will have benefit on tower weights and conductor tonnage, so you can optimize your capex. Then coming to technology and accessory availability, so any technology if we want to proceed, we need to have sufficient conductor tonnage will be lesser compared to ACSR. Then this reduced weights, you can design your towers optimally, and this leads to reduced foundation volumes. So overall, you will have benefit on tower weights and conductor tonnage, so you can optimize your capex. Then coming to technology and accessory availability, so any technology if we want to proceed, we need to have sufficient manufacturing capacities and easiness to construct those lines with those technologies. So today in India, we have sufficient manufacturing capacities available in India for AL59, and this technology does not require any special tools or tackles for stringing or stringing these lines. Then no special hardware or accessories required. So these are some of the benefits of AL59. Now coming to the applications part. Now the major generation sources coming to India are mostly on the RE. So RE integrations, for those we are planning at the central level and the state levels, we are planning a large number of corridors to integrate this RE generation. So for these kind of tools, today RE parks are coming up with high capacities, more than 200 to 350 megawatt, where traditional 220 kV lines may not carry this much capacities with the thermal rating limitations. So in those applications, this AL59 with this 20 to 25% higher capacities, it will be the best option, best alternative at a 220 kV level to the ACSR conductors. Then for planning at 400 and 765 kV lines, we plan Codmus and Hexa Zebra lines, 400 and 765 kV. Again, as I said, because of the tower weight can be reduced and conductor weight is reduced, you will have reduced capex for those intra and interstate lines at 400 and 765 kV. And today, if we see in generally urban areas, load centers, today there is a situation we need to send higher capacities. And if you see planning criteria, also we have increased our maximum substation capacities. So to cater these higher load centers or urban areas, traditional 220 kV lines in the cities, densely populated regions, is limited to their thermal capacities. So AL59 is one of the best alternative here also. Then again, some of the utilities recently we are seeing coming up with bundle configurations at 220 kV. Instead of single Zebra, they are going for twin ACSR MOS. So in those applications also, this twin AL59 MOS will be the best alternative in terms of losses reduction, higher power transfer capacity, and reduced tower weight. Then another part is for coastal areas, because of a high corrosion resistant, this conductor will make best choice for the coastal areas. These are some of the application areas, and as a planners and as an engineers, we now should think about these conductors, high performance conductors going forward in future, where it will make best alternatives for traditional designs. Thank you. So we are open for any queries, Vivek ji, and
thank you, sir. Very informative and very well presented. So, sir, request you to kindly share the screen share. So there are some specific questions which is asked. So we'll try to take few questions in the next 5 minutes. So first question is, what will be the dimension of AL59 cables? Will be the same as conductors or it is different? So Mohan sir, Prasad sir, and Negi sir, you can answer.
I think Prasad ji will take that question.
Mr. Prasad, you have to unmute yourself. Okay, I'll move to the next question. How stringing can be done while replacing existing conductor with AL59 for double circuit life? Prasad sir, Mohan sir, Negi sir. Prasad sir, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, up karo. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
No, I can answer. I was not allowed to speak. What is the question now? First question was, can the conductor size of the same AL59 and ACSR? That was the question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is already shown in the presentation that we can design a conductor of the same diameter, and another thing is, and then we can compare the parameters in terms of sag and tension, and accordingly do the adjustment in the tower design or design a new tower. So it can be of same size as ACS Hormuz or Jabra. What was the
Okay,
next
sir.
question?
Second question was the AL59 has the same dia and the lower weight. What is the limitation of using AL59 conductors on the existing networks of transmission towers?
Yes, very good question. And whoever asked, I think my emphasis was on this question that how we can use all this new age conductor in existing line. So you will have to do take the help of structural engineer and this transmission line designer that you please it will work at 95 degrees centigrade. So you will have to calculate the sag at 95 degrees centigrade and then put on the tower, your existing tower, and sag tension calculation. You can peel a SCAD, you can use and use this sag tension calculation of AL59 put into the existing tower on the lower cross arm, and then see if it is fouling. Definitely, it has still AL59 has a lesser sag than ACSR, but still, if there is a ground clearance issue because of
Shri D.K. Patil ji, I request
Yes,
you to
sir.
mute your mic.
Yeah, thank you. So moving to the next question.
And then you can
How can
use
we-
this adjustive tower span and accordingly use the existing tower.
Now the questions are running, so we will not be able to answer all the questions. But yes, at the end of the panel discussion, we will be answering all. I'll take one more question for the time being. That is, it will be beneficial if manufacturing process of AL59, raw material required, and its availability is explained, and how the current traditional conductor manufacturers can integrate AL59 in the current setup.
I think Prasad, I can answer, but I think let it be manufacturer who can answer better.
Mr. Prasad, now you can unmute yourself. I have given you the rights.
Okay, I think he's not answering. I will answer that. It will be beneficial if manufacturing process of AL59 raw material required and its availability is explained. I think he has already explained that there is enough capacity available. This was in the presentation by Prasad and another gentleman, that enough capacity is available, and the manufacturing capacity has been well understood by manufacturer. Raw material is available. I mean, there is no issue to that extent. And then how can current traditional conductor manufacturer can integrate AL59 in the current traditional setup? I don't know what is the question from design point of view. Manufacturer has no role, but it is a utility engineers who has a role to replace this AL59 with the AL59, ACS Hormuz AL59, and then for which I have given enough explanation that how it is to be done, taking into consideration the sag tension calculation, operation of the conductor at particular temperature, AL59 95 degrees centigrade, then adjusting your tower span accordingly, or design new tower for AL59. You can do that. There is no problem in that.
Thank you very much, sir, for answering the queries.